Alright, welcome everybody. The 2022 All-Star selections have been announced. This video is just going to be a prediction of what I think the teams will look like after the draft. As always, this is my own opinion. I'm happy to hear yours if you wanted to post it in the comments and let me know what your picks were if they're different from mine. As well as that, I apologise for any choppiness in the video. This is my first one on YouTube, so I'm getting used to software and figuring out what works for me, but I appreciate your patience all the same. Let's get into it. Firstly, team captains this year are once again LeBron James and Kevin Durant. This is LeBron's 18th All-Star selection and Kevin's 12th, both incredible milestones. And for the other All-Star starter selections, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Ja Morant, Trae Young, and Andrew Wiggins. As far as their All-Star appearances, this is Andrew and Ja's first, Trae's second, Nicola's fourth, Joel and DeMar's fifth, Giannis's sixth, and Steph's eighth. So we've got a good mix of experience and newcomers, which will be exciting to see. Now, with the first pick in the draft, I think LeBron will pick Giannis Antetokounmpo. I went back and forward between him and Steph for a very long time. I think they'll be the top two picks in the draft, and whoever LeBron picks, I think Durant will pick the other. That being said, I think Giannis is as unstoppable as they come, and I think he'll be LeBron's first pick in this draft. We know that he likes them both. He's picked both Giannis and Steph in the past, but that would be my best guess. Of course, that means Steph Curry will get picked by Kevin. Last year, Kevin picked Kyrie Irving with his first pick. Obviously, they are teammates. Steph, being an ex-teammate of Durant, there's that connection there, and I think he's a shoo-in as the second pick in the draft. Moving on to Team James's second pick, I think he'll pick Nikola Jokic, the reigning MVP. He's about as dominant as big men come at the moment. Between him and Embiid, I think they're the top two in the MVP race, and I think the Joker would be dominant regardless of whether he had Murray and MPJ active. But I think he's a wise choice for Team LeBron, and he's also been a member of one of LeBron's All-Star teams in the past. As for Kevin Durant's second pick, I think he'll go with Joel Embiid. He needs a centre, and Joel is the only centre left to choose from. That doesn't downplay how incredible he's been this season. I think the last month he's been averaging 33 points, and the last 4 games somewhere closer to 42. Ridiculous numbers. He's an incredible big man. I think he'll be a great addition to Team Durant. So far that leaves Team Durant with Joel Embiid, Steph and Kevin, and Team James, Giannis, Nikola and LeBron. Moving on to LeBron's third pick in the draft, I think he'll go with DeMar DeRozan. Now, this was a toss-up for me between him and Trae Young, but knowing that if we go with DeMar, it takes it off the table for Kevin Durant, and we would get either Trae Young or Ja Morant in LeBron's next turn. I think it's wise to go with him. He's been playing incredibly well. His stats reflect that. He's a 5-time All-Star. He's a clutch player. He's got great experience, and he can go between the forward and the guard position, so he's very versatile. Following on with Kevin Durant's third pick, I think that he'll go with Trae Young. Between him and Ja, I think he's the most logical option. As much as I love Ja, and I think he's going to be great in the All-Star game, and he's having an incredible season, Trae, for me, is the better player, and so I think he'll go 6th in the draft and be a part of Team Durant. Lastly, for Team LeBron, I think he'll choose Ja Morant. He needs someone to fill that guard spot. Ja does that perfectly. I think he's going to bring a lot of energy, a lot of speed, and a lot of thrill to the All-Star game. And he's a great point guard who's really proving himself this year. Now, Andrew Wiggins, I admit I wouldn't have been upset if another Western Conference player had got that spot over him. but I haven't seen a lot of his games this year, so I'm not here to make a judgment call on that. He's been voted in. It looks like he's stepped up his game this year, so I'm happy for him, and I'm sure he deserves to be there. But I think he will be falling to Kevin Durant as that last pick of the All-Star starters in this 2022 draft. And so to recap, I think Team LeBron will be as follows: Ja Morant, DeMar DeRozan, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic. And Team Durant will consist of Trae Young, Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Kevin Durant, and Joel Embiid. Now, one of the other reasons I didn't pick Steph first in the draft was looking at how it all played out later and the matchups that ensued. I wouldn't change any of my other selections. It would just be that Steph and Giannis swap teams. And so Team LeBron would then be matched up against Giannis and Durant in the forward position, opposing James and DeMar DeRozan, with Steph sliding into that shoot guard spot alongside Ja Morant. I just couldn't justify that matchup of Giannis and Durant. I think that's a little too ominous, a little too unstoppable, as much as I love LeBron James and am a fan of DeMar DeRozan. So I think it's wise for LeBron to pick Giannis first and have him on his team, especially after his performance as All-Star MVP last year. That also means that Team Durant has Trae Young and Steph Curry paired up in those guard spots. As I alluded to, I think you'd put Steph Curry in the shoot guard position. I think he's better at moving off the ball and spot up shooting. Trae Young's a fantastic point guard, and I think you'd keep him in that position with the ball in his hands when it's not in Kevin Durant's. As far as the matchup goes, I think both teams have a viable chance. I think Team Durant has a bit of a monopoly on the shooting, especially from three-point range. But that being said, I think LeBron's team will fare just as well. From my experience of watching the All-Star games, there's a little less play calling and a little more fast-paced, fast break, even one-on-one play. And I think both teams are well suited for that. And with the passing prowess of LeBron and the Joker, I think they'll be just fine moving the ball around and finding open shots. The last thought I'll discuss is who will coach the respective teams. From the Western Conference, I think it's hard to look past Monty Williams. What the Suns are doing this year with the leadership of Chris Paul, with Devin Booker, they've got the best record in the league. They're playing great team basketball. And I think Monty Williams has done a great job with them. So he would be my number one pick as a coach. Second to him would be Steve Kerr. He and the Warriors are about as consistently great as they come, and we all know that they play great team ball under a great coach. So he would be my runner-up. The Eastern Conference was a little tougher. You've got 5 or 6 teams within 1 or 2 wins of each other at the top of that conference. At the time of this video, however, I've got 3 nominees. You've got Billy Donovan, Eric Spoelstra, and JB Bickerstaff. I think JB and what he's done with this young Cavs team is incredible. They're playing wonderful team ball. They're a joy to watch, and it's really paying off for them. Billy Donovan's done a great job with this Chicago team. Bringing new stars in the off-season doesn't always work out for teams, but Billy's done a great job. This team's playing well. Again, it's showing in the win column. I just hope the current injuries don't hold them back from a deep playoff push. And lastly, Eric Spoelstra. The Miami Heat team have overcome some early injuries this season with Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. They're playing great team ball, and they're at the top of the Eastern Conference. It's always hard to look past the team on top when you're thinking of nominations for these roles. And so Eric Spoelstra would be my number one pick to coach Team Durant, with Monty being the preferred coach for Team James. Those are all my thoughts on the 2022 All-Star starters at the moment. Thank you for listening so far into the video. When the All-Star reserves are announced, I'll be making another video I doubt I'll change the starter selections too much, but you never know. In the meantime, take care. I've been Midas. Enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy the rest of the season.